Seeing how this is gonna look here. Hoping that works out. I don't usually use the YouTube Live because the camera quality tends to be pretty crappy. Hello. How's it going? Does does the picture look halfway decent on your end, Cal? It's not too bad. I'm hoping it doesn't look too bad. So these are the games I'm going to be working with today. I picked these up from the local retro game store. They have a bin there for their Game Boy and Game Boy Advance cartridges, and they usually sell them for two for $5. So these are the ones I picked up today. I got Rampart, Nintendo World Cup, Centipede, and I got some GBA games here as well. They allowed me to mix and match a little bit. I got Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness, Konami Arcade Advanced, and Namco Museum. Let me see if I can fix the brightness a little bit here. I don't know. Try to find, see if I can find a happy medium. I think that's, yeah, that's too blown up, I think. That was weird. All right. I think I'm just going to leave it the way it was. That's too warm. Yeah, I think that's probably a good, see if I can keep this thing from flopping around too much. So anyway, yeah, what's interesting about this Nintendo World Cup is it's actually by Tecmos and Technos, the guys who did the Super Dodgeball games and the Kunio-kun games in Japan. What's funny is it's got an old Nintendo sticker on it and it's got my name on it, so I'm not taking that off. I thought that was pretty cool. But in any case, what I like to do is anytime I get a um, anytime I get a new game from this store or anywhere else, I like to clean them up before I put them in my Game Boy. Actually, hold on. I just realized I'll be right back. I want to go get the Game Boy. All right, so let's get back. I got my SP here because I figure what we'll do is when we're done cleaning these off, I'm going to need to test them. All right. So let's see here. I think I'll start. You know what? Let's start with. We'll start with World Cup soccer. It's in pretty good shape. It's got a little dinge up here. Overall, it's pretty clean though. So the tools of the trade I like to use are, I've got my security bit screwdriver for Nintendo games. I have that's going to work on these original Game Boy games cartridges. I have my tri-wing screwdriver, which I'm going to use for the GBA games. I have a toothbrush that I've just had for years that I use for brushing things off. Got some Q-tips and my hard plastic eraser, white eraser. And these are what we're going to be using to clean these up. Really, these are the only things you really honestly need, I think. This is the technique I've used for well over 10 years now to clean off Game Boy and regular NES cartridges, SNES even. So I'm going to open up the back of World Cup here. See, this is not your typical screw. This is what's known as a security bit screwdriver, Nintendo, a screw bit that Nintendo uses to keep people from messing around inside these cartridges. But you can get these screwdrivers easily off of Amazon, eBay, what have you. So this should come off, but sometimes, grime gets in the way. There you go. It's not looking too bad in there. So here's the board itself. There's not much in here. It's 2/2 of a shell and a circuit board. So we're going to pop that out. And they don't look too bad, but you can see here, it's going to be hard a little bit in the light, I think. You can see there's some wear on them. And I'm just going to try cleaning that up using my tried and true method. Oh, and also I have my isopropyl alcohol. Actually, technically, I probably should have 99%, but this 91% does the trick. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a Q-tip and we're going to put a little bit of isopropyl on the this method, like I said, this applies to this will also work for your original Nintendo cartridges as well. But I mostly delve with collecting into the Game Boy world here, so to speak. So just going to run this back and forth. You don't ever want to use water on electronics. The IPA is really the best. Now, as soon as I'm done here, you're going to see. You can see the dirt. I don't know if it's going to be. You can see how the dirt on the tip of that. It's nasty. So that takes off the first layer for the most part. Now, some of this stuff here isn't necessarily dirt, but it's going to be just some wear on the pins. All right. So now we're done with that Q-tip. We're going to take our eraser here, and we're just going to go back and forth over this. And then we're going to give it one more, just the wet side. Just clean it off again a little bit more with some alcohol. So you can still see like that there. You can still see it's not dirt though. It's like a wear down of the pins from being in and out of the Game Boy. But overall, they're cleaner than they were. And once again, like I said, I like to make sure. I don't know who's had these before, but my Game Boys are nice and clean, and I want to make sure they stay that way. Next thing I like to do is just around the edges of the inside here a little bit. I don't want to go too crazy because honestly, alcohol and plastic do not mix. It will degrade your plastic. But see here, you can see this dirt along here. And if you just do this a little bit, I'll kind of clean that up a little. There's not much you could do about the yellowing, so to speak, unless you actually go and retrobrite it. You can see all the dirt then getting off of these things already. So something else we can do. Let me go get. I have these electronics wipes. Sometimes I just use a little Windex, and I'll take some Windex and put it on a towel. But I got these electronic wipes here. I got a bunch of these left over from I don't know. Sometimes I get them from stocking stuffers for my phone. You can just do this. It's really, you don't want anything too wet. Just kind of wipe off the edges and stuff. I know it seems crazy to do all this, I guess, but like I said, I don't. These things are 30 plus years old in some cases, so you don't know who's had them last, and you don't know where they've been. So I like to just clean them up. Sometimes you find them in the, you can see the grime here at the top and side here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a different Q-tip. And one of the things you got to watch out for is you don't want to involve your label sticker here, because the alcohol will eat right through it. You can clean the labels off to a point depending on the game, because some of the games have like almost like a little extra. You can see how it's shiny here. It's got like almost like an extra coating, but still, I don't want to mess with that too much and get close, because the alcohol is just going to eat away at the adhesive. So I'm going to try to get in here, under here, and clean up this little bit of grime that's around the edge of this. Just kind of loosen that up a little bit. Fortunately, you can see there's like that stain there, that staining, and you can't really do a whole lot about that. Let's see, I also have that in there. This is the dry side. You see that looks like booger coming out of there. Sometimes you get these yellow stains on these cartridges. I don't have really anything to give it as example right now, because this one's pretty clean. But they're almost like smoke stains. Yeah, that's about the best we're going to get with this. So, all right, so we're going to put the board back in. The board's going to lay, you got the two holes here. You got this little notch here. It's for this hole. You get this big one down here. And unfortunately, sometimes that top one there, right here, they break very easily. They're very brittle with age. But that cleaned up pretty good, pretty well. So then take this from here. It's gonna kind of slide in, and then it closes it up. And then what you can do is just take your screwdriver, pop that right back in there. You don't want to overdo it. You just want to do it enough that it's going to stop. All right, so that one's done. So let's pop it into the SP here and see what we get. There you go. Tecmos Japan. don't think I've ever played this. Because it's on the SP, got a little bit of color here. I don't even feel like I'm playing. It must be, though, because he's kicking the ball. Anyway, alright, let's move on. That works. And that's not a game I had in my collection already, so that was a nice little buy. Alright, that's one down, and how many games did I get here? 5 more to go. So, I think there's not much dirt on this wet one. I'm going to reuse it. So how about if we do a... let's do a GBA game next. Let's do this Arcade Advance, Konami Arcade Advance. Let's see how this one works out. And for this, we're going to use a tri-wing screwdriver here, like I had mentioned before. Got to kind of open these up a little slow. You don't want to strip anything, and you don't want to ruin the head of the screw or anything like that. That's magnetic, which is cool. I forgot I had a magnetic screwdriver. And it's the same idea. These just slide down like that, pop off, and it looks pretty clean, actually. Not too bad. So Konami Arcade Advance had, is it 4 games? It has Frogger, Yar Kung Fu, Time Pilot, and Scramble, if I recall. All great arcade games. So you'll see the difference here. These are a lot smaller, about half the size of a Game Boy board. And I'm just going to take this, I think this is the wet side. We're just going to do the same thing. We're going to just give it a rub over. More on there. All right, with that done, let that dry off, and then I'm just going to rub it over here. It's looking pretty good. Not bad. And we'll go in here and we'll just do like the edge of this a little bit. This isn't too bad. I don't really want to apply anything on here. Like I said, this stuff will eat the plastic. So I think we're pretty good there. Looks pretty good. Alright, so this is going to go in here. There's like these little notches on the side. Let me flip this over. And that plops in, clicks in. Take your screw. And we're going to put that back in here. Like so. Just till it stops. I don't want to overdo it. Okay. Let's test this one out. Trying to figure out, does this look better with or without the back or the front light in this case? This is a really cool game. I love these old arcade games. I think this might be the best of the retro compilations on the GBA as well. Yeah, we got Frogger, you got Scramble, Time Pilot, and Oh, Gyrus, that's right. So there is 5. All great games. Oh, and Russian. Holy crap, I forgot all these were on here. I'm sitting here thinking there's only 4 games, and I think there's 6. It's a great compilation. I haven't played this in a while. Yeah. Very well done. Love Gyrus. I grew up in the old arcades, so. Trolls are a little funny though, because in the arcade it was a joystick, but it kind of revolved to a point where you could more easily like spin around, because it's almost like a Tempest kind of thing, but with spaceships. So yeah. I think if you hit start, let's see, is that going to work? Yeah, you can go back to the main menu here and pick another game. Very cool. Love Time Pilot. This is a great little. You can even do a 2-player mode if you link the cables and everything. These are great ports, though. Play wonderfully. A lot smoother in person. So anyway, there's that. And I'm going to put that up there. So next we will do Rampart. This is a Game Boy Color only version of Rampart. They did make a Game Boy edition of this game, but this is purely for Game Boy Color. 2 different games, 2 different cartridges. I believe this one's from Digital Eclipse, if I'm not mistaken. So Mike Micah maybe had some involvement. I don't know. Maybe I'll ask him in Twitter later. But we're going to open this up just like we did the World Cup Soccer. And the side, cool see-through cover there, shell. That's how you're able to distinguish that this is Game Boy Color only. Never played this, so I thought it'd be nice to have for my collection. Some of these arcade ports can go either way. Some are absolutely terrible. Some are pretty decent. And some are very good. Game Boy Color, it's hit or miss. Because if I recall, that Centipede up there that I'm going to be getting to almost looks like the 2600 for Atari 2600 Centipede. So we're just going to do a quick little rub down. I think I might get me. Let's move on to Q-tip number 3 here. These things rub out, so they get a little battered. Hey, just give it a little rundown with some IPA. Do both sides for good measure. I've seen people use Deoxic and magic erasers. I don't recommend that personally, but whatever. What do I know? But magic eraser seems a little too abrasive, in my opinion. You don't want to completely strip down these pins to be unreadable. They'll gray out and get real dim. You can see these are still nice and shiny. And I think just taking off that top layer of gunk is enough to get a game working from maybe being a failure. So I'm going to dry that off a little bit. And once again, we're going to take the eraser. We're just going to go back and forth a little bit, maybe circle it a little bit back and forth like this. Especially hard to get to the edges sometimes. And so there's that. Looks pretty good. You want to make sure it's able to make contact with the system. That's the key thing. Sometimes it's hard to tell because these things are see-through where all the dirt is. But you can see some of the scuffing, which is probably from the outside. This is all on the outside. Once again, I don't want to go crazy. This is plastic. But So on these color ones, they don't have the little hole. There's a hole in the board, but there's no notch for it to go into. I've noticed, but nonetheless, it just slips right in there, just like the other. Okay, slides in there just like the other Game Boy cartridge did. It's one thing I don't like about this. This here, it isn't magnetized at all. But you want to get a nice, I guess, aim going so you can line it up, and I think that's in there. Yeah, there you go. The little noise is normal. All right, let's try this out real quick. I've not played this. I've only seen videos. Oops, I forgot they stick out. Yeah, it's not the Tuma. There you go. It's working. Digital Eclipse. Midway. This was a arcade port. It's almost like Warlords meets Tetris in a way. Kind of hard to see the screen. It says play red. Yeah, you can't really tell. Yeah, play red, play blue, play linked, and options. What's the options? Let's say it's probably music. Pretty cool. Ooh, that doesn't sound right. Is that normal? That buzzing? Something's not right. That doesn't sound right. Let's try it again. There it is. Something weird with the sound. I'm going to have to try it in a different system. It's almost like there's interference or something. Ooh, that's annoying. I wonder what that's about. I'll have to look into that. I don't know what that's about. Yep. Anyway, all right. I mean, the game seems like it works fine. It's almost like there's a magnet or something interfering with it. Never heard anything like that before. All right, so what do we have left here? We've got Centipede, we've got Namco Museum, and Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness. So how about if we do Miss Pac-Man? Pretty decent shape. Back's a little funky. All right. So let's get this open and see what we look like inside here. Yeah, Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness is a really neat game. Even the ports are decent, but the main console ports, like on the, I remember I used to play it on the Dreamcast. It was a lot of fun. PlayStation 1 was kind of eh. I don't know if it came out for. Did it come out for Nintendo 64? I don't know. I'm not a big Nintendo 64 person. It doesn't look too bad. Let me see. Let me get some. But yeah, you move Miss Pac-Man through like this maze, of course. but it's more of like a, it's not quite a platformer, but it's more of a puzzle kind of thing. It's an overhead puzzle game. I don't know if you remember playing it before, Cal. The Game Boy version, though, this advanced version, I don't remember it being too bad for what it was. There. That came out really, really good, actually. If you can see it, I don't know if you could see it on the screen, but on the camera here, but I think it came out really nice. See that? That definitely had some dirt on it. And they're nice and shiny now. So what I'm going to do is take this and just do one of these real quick on the edges. This is kind of filthy in here, actually. It's not too bad. It's a little better. You got to figure a lot of kids played with this stuff, you know? So I think what I'm going to do is just do like a little bit of this on here. You can see where it is, but I'm just going to wipe it up. Okay, all right. Once again, I don't want to mess around with the front too much. I don't want to mess up the label. At first, I thought the label may have been a little faded, but it actually looks pretty decent. In any case, I'm going to put this back together, and then I will maybe just wipe around the edges of the cartridge shell a little bit. Where's the right part? I mean, these things are old. I mean, I like to try to keep them in nicest condition as possible to last another, what, 20 years maybe, perhaps, we'll see. All right. And since it's a GBA, it's nice and flush. La, come on. Full fat. How many logos do we get here? Come on. Interesting. There's no battery in there. So it must save it to the, it must have like a flash memory. Cleopatra, yeah. I remember you started out in Egypt. Let's see how this plays. Hi, it's me, Professor Peck. Well, not really. This is a hologram. Have fun. There you go. So now what we do is we walk along here. We have to collect the dots. It's a fun game. I like it's almost like an Egyptian spin on Pac-Man music. Actually, that sounds like Ghouls and Goblins or Ghosts and Goblins. Ghouls and Ghosts. So now you can push these. Like I said, it's got puzzle elements. And that allows you to revert the block back to where it originally started. There's a checkpoint. Anyway, it's working pretty well. It's a fun little game. Can't beat that for $2.50, the way I look at it. Let's see. All right, next we have here, we have Centipede and we have Namco Museum left. Sadly, I don't think Namco Museum is going to have the actual Miss Pac-Man on it, so that's a bummer. It probably will have the regular Pac-Man. We'll do Centipede. This is a black cartridge, which means it is a Game Boy game that can run on the original Game Boy, the old black and white Game Boy, or Pocket, or it will also be cross-compatible with the Game Boy Color as well. So regardless of what system you have, you can play either this game on either one of them. And in some cases, the games actually have a little bit of an upgrade depending on what system you play them in. If you play it in the Color, you'll have better, sometimes even have better graphics, better great gameplay, just lots of little things they tweak. It's almost like having two games in one based on what Game Boy family of system you play it on. Open this up. The cartridge itself is in really nice condition. They actually have two of them, and I picked the one that looked a little nicer than the other. So this one just had a better label going for it. The other one was a little edged up around there, but this one looks really nice. So I'll pop that off, and it's not too bad. I mean, you get these wear marks here, but sometimes you can get them to come up. Sometimes they just wear. There's not much you can do about it. So let's get a new Q-tip, and I'm gonna dip that in some IPA here, and clean away. You can see there's not much dirt on there, so it's relatively clean. Get this in. We're going to do a little bit of this one here. And then we're going to go back over it for good measure, just to get some of that debris off. A little better. Like I said, you're probably still going to see some wear marks in there, but you at least get the dirt that comes with it off. All right. So let's clean off the shell itself here. Funny enough, the shell seems like it's a little dirtier than the board itself. So let's put that back in here. There's that little tab I'm telling you about. See, they get so brittle with age. I've had them fall off on me, but if you just pop it on there just right, it'll... Sometimes just taking this, sliding this down will pull it off, even though it's not even attached to this. It's just, I guess if it's been shifted around and bumping the top part, it will just kind of yank it off, unfortunately. I mean, it's not going anywhere, so it's not too bad, but still, I hate having to break something. Alright, so what I'm going to do is take this, what's left of this, get a little bit on there, let's get a little white ball. And try that down as fast as we can. There you go. Stay away from that label. All right, let's try this one out. Ooh, we're in fat mode. There you go. Majesco sales. Unfortunately, that is never a good sign. Majesco seems to put out, or at least they used to back in the day, some really bad games. Yeah, this is looking a little rough just from the title screen. So because we're playing this in the Game Boy Advance SP, it's defaulting to the Game Boy Color mode. Yeah, this is not very good. I feel like I'm playing maybe... I feel like I'm playing like the ColecoVision of it or something. I mean, obviously Game Boy, you could do a lot better than this. But this is what I'm saying, Majesco isn't really... You're not getting high-end gaming with Majesco. Never a huge fan of Centipede. The Atari 7800 version was pretty decent though. But this just looks drab. You know, I want to try something here. Let's restart it. Yeah, it doesn't let you do the color combos. It's automatically playing in color mode. Not the best game. But nice to have for the collection, I guess. Alright. Moving on to the last and final cartridge for the evening is Namco Museum. A decent collection of Namco titles. I'm going to guess, if I remember correctly, we've got Pac-Man, Dig Dug, Galaga, and Galaxian, I think, are on here, if I remember. I thought it was kind of lame, to be honest with you. They could have definitely have fit more games on here. I mean, Konami gave us 6 games. Would have killed them to have added maybe Mappy and I don't know, what else could they have put on here? Maybe not Ghosts and Goblins, but well, that's Capcom. What am I saying? Namco. Yeah, even Dig Dug 2. I don't know. I don't think pole position would have worked out well. You don't have a steering arm. Let's see here. We're done with this for the night. And we're going to use the Charlie Wing. Yeah, but Mappy, or I know what I'm thinking of. Jiraga. Tower Jiraga. Why not put Tower Jiraga on there? That would have been a neat little out of left field game for the Namco collection. I recall the DS Namco collection was really well done. I think M2 worked on that. Those guys are wizards when it comes to doing retro game ports. What side is the wet side? It's this side. That last cartridge wasn't too dirty, so I'm just gonna reuse this one. There you go. It's hard to tell. It's a little brightness isn't the best. Little dark. Got a little something on there. Let's get a new Q-tip. All right, so put that in there. Let's try that again. There you go. To the other side. Looks pretty decent. I think the thing that really drove me crazy about these retro collections and these for the Game Boy Advance, such as Konami Arcade Advance and this Namco. Ooh, drop that screw. The Namco collection is the fact that they don't save high scores. Let me go find that screw. I'll be right back. There we go. But these collections didn't save high scores, and it drove me crazy. I mean, I guess they didn't want to take the extra money to, put some kind of saving, implement some kind of saving method. But it's kind of a bummer because ultimately these games relied on the whole high score method to them. You put a quarter in, you try to get the high score, and it'd been nice to come back and see your high score that you got on your game saved. But unfortunately, you were left having to write the scores down usually, which was a bit of a bummer, I think. All right, so that cleaned up pretty decent. I mean, none of these have been absolutely filthy to begin with. What was the first game we did? I think it was World Cup. World Cup was kind of dirty. That had some dirt on it. GBA ones are pretty good. You can see they're nice and shiny. Not bad. So, not bad. All right. So this is done. Let's take a look here and see how he's looking. Let's go to the bottom part. Not really that dirty. All right. See, there's little notches on the side here. You know what? I keep forgetting that this screwdriver is magnetic. What the heck? All right, and real quick, why don't we just do this again? We'll give this a nice little wipe down. You don't know what little kid was sticking this in his mouth at one point in his life. These are overall pretty cheap games. The Namco Museum, you can get these on eBay and whatnot pretty cheap, or in 2 for $5 bins for the most part, I guess. All right, so we're done with that, and let's give it a shot. See what happens. If I remember, it's like an elephant. Yeah, Mass Media. Another one of these fly-by-night companies. Oh, it does have pole position. All right, wait a minute. Yeah, I'm thinking of something else. And it does have. Okay, wait. I'm totally thinking of another. I think I'm thinking of the Pac-Man collection. I remember that only had like 3 games on it. Ah, see, it doesn't have Pac-Man. So no, this is kind of goofy. Look, you get 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you get 5 games. You get 5 games. All right, this isn't bad. Pole position is a little strange though. I don't know why they would put pole position. I think Mappy would have been better. And I remember now the reason they don't have Pac-Man on here is because they have it in the Pac-Man collection. That's the one I think I'm thinking of because I remember there was one of these collections that only had like 3 or 4 games, and I always thought that was kind of annoying. And the Pac-Man one is the one that doesn't have it. It only has 3 games in other words. So let's get this started. The big problem with this is, let's see, can you fix it? No. Sometimes you can flip the screen, so you can play like that, and you get the whole play field. All these games are except for pole position or vertical screen oriented in the arcade. So let's just play here. I guess how you put a quarter in. Hey, there you go. All right, here we go. Not bad. Emulation's pretty decent, which you'd think it would be. I mean, this at the time this came out, the games are emulating were over 20 years old. So, I mean, the GBA should be able to handle them. Oh, we got one more down here. Come to Papa. I want to pump you up. There you go. All right. So let's go back to the main menu. Let's see how pole position plays, because I can't imagine. I haven't played this in so long. I actually have owned this since it came out, but I can't remember. That's good to get the voice and everything. All right, let's accelerate. Now, what would have been cool is if they allowed you to use the shoulder buttons to steer. See, it's hard to. Like over. See, it over steers to a point. It's a lot smoother than it's going to look on the camera, though, I'll tell you that much. It's super fast on the screen of the Game Boy. But it's hard to stay on the road because you just want to, you're tapping it and it just, it's really touchy. It's almost like the steering wheel controls and it's looking for a steering wheel. But yeah, it overcompensates. Oh wait, I just realized you can shift, right? How do you shift? Ah, the shoulder button shifts. Okay. Well, I was going to lose that because I didn't realize I wasn't shifting. Let's try it one more time. I was wondering why I was in low gear the whole time. Now I'm in low. There you go. Now I went low. Now I went high. Let's see if we can actually... Let's see. This is hard to steer. This is what I'm saying. They should have just put... They should have put Mappy on here or something. Alright, let's see. What should we try? Real quick, let's try something else. I don't know if I can play Miss Pac-Man on here, because it's... Okay, see, this Pac-Man, they give you the option to do a full screen, and a scrolling version. Yeah, overall, this is a nice little collection. But once again, a game like this relies on high score save, and you're not going to get it in this, unfortunately. Oops, I thought that was a fruit. I thought that was the cherry, and cherry was in the middle. Oh well. Having some trouble seeing this. I want to see something. Does so you can do a full screen and scroll. That's a shame. Galaga and Galaxian don't do that for you. Although they kind of do. It's doing the typical score over on one side and oh, I'm doing lousy here. I just don't have this close enough to my face. Bastards get that little delay. All right, anyway, that's all there is to it. We've cleaned Namco Museum, Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness, Konami Arcade Advanced, World Cup Soccer, Rampart for the Game Boy Color, and Centipede, which is easily the worst game of the bunch. I still have to figure out why Rampart is making that weird sound issue. Not really sure what that's about. I'm going to try loading it up in a Game Boy Color and see if it still does that. It could just be something to do with the SP. I mean, the SP came out after this game did, so maybe it's just, I don't know. They didn't know there was an SP going to be made out, or a GBA, so this may very well run fine in a Game Boy Color. So, yeah, once I update it, I'll see if I can remember to leave a comment below. These are from Nintendo Power, if I remember. These are pretty cool. I had a couple myself. And I'm going to leave this one on here because it's got my name on it. Ooh, how did I miss that? What is that? That's disgusting. Let's clean that off. Jeez, I didn't even notice that before. All right, well, we're in overtime here. Okay, let's see. See if we can get that off. That's nasty. It looks like some kind of smegma. Let's see if that'll come off. Gross. Oh my god, what is that? It's coming off. It's just gotta dig at it. Oof. Nasty. You know what? I think this calls for Mr. Toothbrush. Let's try this. Here it is. I don't want to. This is the problem. I don't want to get it on the label. I should probably take this end off, huh? I should probably take it apart. you know what? That's not working too well. Let me get my Mr. Toothbrush is falling apart. Let me get a fix-it kit out, and we will get a. Let's try this guy here. Let's see if we can pick some of that out. Now that I've worn it down a little bit. Let's see if we can just kind of do some of this here. There you go. Yeah, that's what we need. It's like weird. It's like some kind of. I feel like I'm doing dental work here. Mr. World Cup, you haven't been flossing, have you? Man, that was nasty. I don't know how we missed that the first time. Dude, it's stuck to me now. Another Q-tip, that'll be it. We should be good to go. All right. That's just a reflection. It's cleared out. I think what we're seeing is just some. Hey now, Russell, what's up? How's it going, Mr. Tech Master? All right. Sorry to say, Russell, but I'm pretty much done now. I just found some leftover gunk on this edge of this cartridge I missed the first time. It looks like it's pretty good now, though. I think we're good to go. Yeah, so there you go. We good. I think we know. What's this? Let's see. All right, we're all set. Cool, thanks, dude. Thanks for stopping in. All right, well, we're all set. He looks pretty good now. So, boom, 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 boom. We're all cleaned and ready to go. And I recommend anybody that buys aftermarket cartridges, yeah, definitely give them a little clean over. You don't want some filthy scums, germs all over your Game Boy and cartridges and so forth. Well, yes, I was still at it, but I am done now. So, if you come to gloat, it is for naught. Alright. That's that. That's that. That. And that's that. And that's that. So, yeah, thanks again for joining me. It's been a lot of fun. I hope you got something out of this. Until next time, I will see you guys later when I am back to my normal video making business. Now I got this stuff on the table. I got to clean it up. Pretty gross. All right, thanks again, guys. Take it easy. Good night.